Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Devin and I read books, and this is Devin Read Books. I originally wanted to just record a quick review of Joe Abercrombie's The Blade itself. I am not doing that. It's been a little while since I've done anything horror related. I didn't do Giallo July. I didn't do Summerween. Mostly because of, if you watched my last video, I've been dealing with the new job stuff and leaving the bookstore and all that. I just haven't been reading a whole lot. Not even to mention editing or recording or anything like that. But I want to do some summer horror before summer's over. It's August 1st. I'm running out of time. So without further ado, this weekend, even though it's very late Thursday night right now, I just couldn't wait. I want to start it. I'm going to read Two Sides to Every Murder by Danielle Valentine. This was the Barnes & Noble YA Book Club pick, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. And then Heads Will Roll by Joshua Winning. And I was wondering where I knew that name from, and I realized he did Burn the Negative, which I didn't read, but was one of our face-outs in our hardcover shop at the bookstore for the longest time. So both of these take place at a summer camp with a big history. This cover is just spectacular, though. Look at that. S'mores, bloody axe. I'm definitely going to start with Two Sides to Every Murder. It's just shorter, so that's going to go a little faster, and I kind of want the big book for the weekend reading to be Heads Will Roll. But Two Sides to Every Murder is about this girl, Olivia, who was born during the Camp Lost Lake murders, and then 17 years later, she discovers a man she calls dad is not her father, and she wants answers, so she goes back with her friend. In the court of public opinion, her mom was found guilty of the deaths, and both of them have been in hiding ever since. Reagan believes her mother's innocence and is determined to clear her name, so Reagan is another girl that's going back. The camp is reopening, providing no, that's not perfect opportunity for anything but a murder, alright? And Friday the 13th, sleepaway camp. You reopen the murder camp, more people die. That's just how it works. But it looks like true horror slasher fashion. There's going to be a mystery element to this, and I love that. That's one of the big things I really like about slashers, whether they're movies or books. I hate when they tell you who it is from the beginning. It drives me insane. Don't tell me. Let me figure it out. Don't spoil any of it. So this is going to be very digestible. It's going to sound bad, but as with most YA horror, I just kind of go in expecting Fear Street. I just want to enjoy it. You know, it doesn't have to be overly graphic. It doesn't have to be overly anything. It just has to be a fun time. So I'm hoping that's kind of exactly what this is. Both of these books are only like 300 pages, so I should be able to get through them pretty quick. No problem finishing them up by Sunday. And then the big mamma jamma, Heads Will Roll. After sitcom star Willow tweets herself in infamy and stumbles blind drunk into a swimming pool, her agent ships her off to Camp Castaway, nestled deep in upstate New York. Castaway is a summer camp for adults who are desperate to leave their mistakes behind. No real names, no phones, no way to call for help. Who thought that was a good idea? While fellow campers seem okay, her own favorite actress is here, making a s'more. And did that jaded writer Danny just wink at her? But the peaceful vibe is shattered when one of the campers vanishes and Willow finds a mutilated doll's head in her room with a threatening message rolled up inside. That's awesome. That's just awesome. And then obviously at the end there's a little blurb. Is Willow about to get canceled all over again? This time for good? Well, maybe. I don't know. Main characters usually survive. But either way, these both. The plots, I'm not expecting a lot from. It's generic camp horror. I just want to go to camp and I want to see people die. That is it. I'm very excited to dive into it. I'm hoping they're as good as some of these blurbs say. This one in particular, it's got praise from Paul Tremblay, who I just read Horror Movie, which is right up there, and I loved it. That was so good. That was my first Paul Tremblay book. Gonna read Cabin at the End of the World here soon. And then Gus Marino, he's praised this book as well. So I'm very excited to dive into both of them. I'm definitely going to start this as soon as I finish this intro, and I will hope you stick along for the rest of the video. Alrighty guys, I am like dead tired. Noodle is still at the vet. It was a very stressful morning. I ended up going back to sleep. I just had a nice breakfast. I read a little bit more of Two Sides to Every Murder. I'm barely in there. I have another thing that I'm getting ready to record right now, and then I'm gonna dive deeper into this. I'm trying to also get some videos up this weekend, in addition to blowing through these. I am having a little bit of a problem with this book though, because the then year, like the past, is 2008 in this book. 2008. My brain can't parse that is like the 10 years ago past for this story. That's driving me insane. Not a whole lot has happened. The first chapter was kind of in the past, and it was just someone witnessing the murders, and then it shifts right into Olivia, and telling a story about how she heard about the murders, almost dropped it, at a sleepover, and then finding out that her dad is not really her dad thanks to a paternity test. My cat just climbed into a standing closet. It's fine. But her dad is not her dad. She found out from a paternity test she did, like 23andMe, she did for school. And now she's just being rude to her mom about it while they're about to go meet their sister at this new reformed camp. I guess her sister owns a co-working space company or something, and they're sponsoring this big event, I guess. I'm gonna record this other video really quick on my nicer camera and not my phone, and then dive deeper into this, and I will touch back in with you guys in a bit. Alrighty guys, I am back. I may have messed up a setting on my camera. We'll figure that out in post. It'll be fine. Today has been kind of a weird day. I went to the gym and then I've been running errands, and now I gotta cook lunch / dinner. But last night I did finish Two Sides to Every Murder. I enjoyed it. I liked it more than I thought I would. Once again, I put the dust jacket on upside down. It's definitely very much like modern Fear Streety, and by that I mean writers like Natasha Preston, where they're very clearly harkening back to that 90s, early 2000s era of like teen horror, teen slashers. There's a lot of throwback vibes. It's not necessarily a direct nod to like 90s or 2000s slashers, but you can tell that the vibe is the same as if you were watching any kind of like teen slasher of the last 30 years. So that's really cool. So I predicted the big twist, but not the killer, and I don't want to go into big spoilers. I was correct about the connection between the two main characters. How for the most part, but I definitely was wrong about the killers, and I don't know, I guess there's only one. I don't know if that's because I missed the clues, or if the clues weren't strong enough. I don't really know. There's no like big red herrings either, so I think it's more of a matter of I just didn't have enough direct information other than like one thing. But I was also kind of going with like, this is probably what would have happened if it was a movie. So there is that. There's also, I'm trying to think of how I can phrase this without spoiling anything. I don't think I can. But yeah, you can, I don't want to say it's not a predictable ending, but it's definitely not what you would completely expect, just from based on how it happens, except the final twist you'll probably be able to piece together too, which is I think supposed to be like the biggest twist, but that one is actually relatively predictable based on the characters and the events that happen. All in all, you know, I read it in a day, being a very non-focused reader. I really enjoyed it. It's just kind of average, but I had a really fun time. If you're new, I tend to be pretty lax on grading books. If I enjoyed the experience, you're probably not going to get anything less than a 3-star, and I would probably give it a 3 to 3.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. It's not groundbreaking or anything like that, but I had a really fun time reading it, and I thought about starting last night, but I didn't. So once I get dinner really going, I'm going to sit down and start Heads Will Roll. I've already taken the dust jacket off. I've looked at the first couple pages. On the inside where all the copyright information is, there's a quote, "You are who you are, the only trick is not getting caught, Graham," from But I'm a Teenager, 1999, and that's probably the first time in 10 years that I've even seen that movie referenced. But just flipping through it, it's doing a lot of things I really like in horror books. Not just horror books, but in like any kind of mystery, thriller, or sci-fi. I really love when they do stuff like this, where it's replies to a tweet posted, or I don't want to hold it up too long because I don't want any spoilers getting out there. It's just a paper insert, information about person involved in the incident. And Two Sides Every Murder did that too. I love when books do that. That was one of the coolest things to me when I read Nick Cutter's The Troop, was just how much of those different inserts and court documents you got to read through. And I love that type of storytelling so much. It feels so much more immersive, especially when there's some type of mystery element. So yeah, I'm very excited to kind of dive into this second one in this video. I have to record well, technically it'll be a third video because I did record my haul video, but I had something else I wanted to also try and record quickly during the time span of this reading vlog. Hopefully I will finish this Saturday, Sunday. I'm probably gonna end up wrapping it up Monday after my new job. But I am going to get cooking, and I will stop by again here in a little bit, give you an update. Alrighty guys, I am back. It is Sunday. I started Pencil Roll last night. I've read a little bit of it. I'm getting ready to do a big long sprint with just probably Friday 13th on the background. In the background, rather. Not a lot has happened, really. So one thing I do really like so far is that we don't get the main character's birth name. It's never given, and I even checked the description in the book, or like on the dust cover, I should say, and it's not given there either. I think this is going to be a little more psychological than it implies, if I'm being honest. But basically, there's this actress who created a problem for herself on Twitter, and she is going to this wilderness retreat to kind of get away from everything. It's basically ruined her life. She got canned from the only show she was like super known for. Everyone Loves Willow. Her ex broke up with her and kicked her out of the house, so she goes to this retreat to kind of get a fresh start. Before she arrives, when she still has use of her phone, someone had texted her on WhatsApp with some threats. And then there's, even like on the way, they make references to other horror movies. I'm trying to remember the first one. Because the big one I remember that I'm going to talk about in a second is Scream 3. But there was one before that, and now it's bothering me that I can't remember. But in true modern horror fiction fashion, there's a lot of references to other horror media. When she gets to the actual camp, she has to choose a fake name, and just out of instinct, she chooses Willow, the name of her character. She gets introduced to some of these other campers, but before she meets with them, she cuts her hair to kind of dress differently and look differently. She puts on makeup to cover up her freckles so she doesn't look like her character Willow. But it compares her hair, how she cut her bangs, to Courtney Cox's character, Gale Weathers, in Scream 3, and oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm assuming that most of the people that are going to be watching this are going to remember that iconic haircut. Could only be rivaled by Josh Hartnett's haircut in, oh gosh, which Halloween is that? H2O, I'm pretty sure. It's so bad. I'll probably put a whole big old picture of it here. But I thought that was really funny that it compared it to that. And then, as I showed before, it also gives story elements, or like background elements, in the form of written interviews and things like that. And in one, it talked about her favorite actress that made her want to be an actor, Juniper Brown, who it seems like she did a lot of like blaxploitation films, kind of like what we would have seen in the 70s, like Shaft, but with a female lead. And when she gets to this camp, she sits around all these other campers. And lo and behold, one of the last ones to arrive is Juniper Brown, going by her real name. So that's one red flag. And the fact that Juniper Brown showed up at all and has no other conversation with any of the other members of this camp at this retreat, I'm thinking there's some psychological stuff going on. I don't want to get too spoilery, but I want to talk about my theories. So that's where I'm at with it right now. She's just getting settled in to everything. I'm going to binge read it here for the rest of the day, and hopefully I can wrap this up tonight. I will go ahead and get Friday the 13th queued up, and we will talk again soon. So we ate some cookies. I only took a nap. I should probably be reading, but I'm gonna pass out if I try to sit down and read. And so until my little coffee kicks in here, I'm just watching some Maxi Lobes, who is he's kind of a late night streamer on Twitch, but he does a lot of like horror games, a lot of Resident Evil. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. That's how tired I am. One of his other series, he does Fatal Frame. He does a lot of some Silent Hill, and then I'm just playing some Bug Fables, doing some side quests and stuff. And Bug Fables is just like Paper Mario, basically, but not Mario. It's bugs. So yeah, I'll definitely read more of Heads Will Roll tonight, but right now I just need the coffee to kick in. Alrighty everybody, I am back. I have finished Heads Will Roll by Joshua Winning. Ignore the mess back there. I have some reorganizing to do. I got a little crazy with some books. You know, my haul to unhaul ratio is not very cash money. But I think where I last left off with this, Willow had just kind of arrived to the camp, and they had all used fake names. I don't want to go too much into spoilers, so we're not going to see too much into the detail, but I love this book. I super recommend it. There's even more nods and throwbacks, like one of the roads is called Hodder Drive or Hodder Lane. If you're into horror, you know that's referencing Kane Hodder, if I can talk today, who is like the most well-known actor behind the Jason mask. But it's just a ton of references. It's totally 80s, 90s summer camp slasher at its core. Some of the characters are great. Juniper is one of my favorites, actually. She is the one who is kind of she was this well-known actress who did a lot of like blaxploitation films, and she's Willow, the main character's favorite actor. And she's just there. So there's this big mystery element of my favorite actor left Hollywood 15 years ago. Has she just been here the whole time? What's been going on? And then the rest of the characters are just all pretty fun too. You kind of have the camp mom, not the camp head counselor or camp mom, but like one of the women there is kind of camp mom for different people. Another one is really good friends with this guy who gave himself the camp name Buck. So you do kind of see all the stereotypical representation. I wish some of the murders had been a little more creative. It's very, I would say, like modern slashery, where there's like a designated weapon, so to speak, and it's the axe. So that's not really a spoiler. It's on the cover. But that's probably my only complaint about this movie. The twist at the end is solid. There's actually two of them. ultimately, but they're both really well done. They both really work. It isn't quite like Two Sides to Every Murder, where one isn't really a twist. You kind of expect it. They're both kind of there, and they drop the little hints, but you probably won't pick up what they're putting down until right before it happens. So it feels very, very, just very mysterious the whole time, and very true to kind of 80s, 90s slasher form. My cat's being terrible. Hold on. Okay. The nods were great. He actually has another book called Burn the Negative that I'm probably going to read now. Once you hit the last like third of the book, you cannot put it down. Once everything really starts to take off, it's spectacular. I will say, one thing I have mixed opinions on is you get a different perspective when people are about to die. When the killer is going after the victims, you change to the victim perspective. And that alone, like from the very first one that it does, which is early on in the book, that alone kind of spoils what's going to happen. So I did kind of have a gripe with that. Like, we're telling the whole story through the eyes of Willow, and now all of a sudden we have an Apollo chapter out of nowhere. And your brain, if you read a lot of murders or murder mysteries or slashers, horrors, anything close to murder, horror, thriller, whatever, that's going to be an immediate indication that something's about to go down. And that kind of irked me a little bit. I don't know why I keep saying murder instead of mystery, but that bothered me a lot. That's probably my only real complaint with the book. Overall, I loved it. Going from Two Sides to Every Murder to this was super, super fun. I was really worried that it would the camp theme would kind of overdo it, but the tone and the characters are just so different. I would definitely give this the #1 slot of the two. This was definitely my vlog winner. Yeah, I had a really good time reading this. I'm probably gonna go buy Burn the Negative when I get paid. And I hope you like the rest of the vlog. I have one more video already recorded that is going to upload right now. I don't have it with me, but I am reading Ararat by Christopher Golden. I'm probably going to do a video on that so far. That's just been very fun to read, and I've got a couple of other ideas in the works. Anyways, I hope I get AirPods here soon, since mine have just up and disappeared, so that I can record normally, although I do need to learn how to actually use my camera and do my audio more effectively this way too. But thanks for watching. I hope you'll tune into the next video. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I hope you watch the next one, and thank you for watching.